Leader has been detained at her residence after raids that took place at her residence. She has been detained by the Enforcement Directorate is what we are getting to know. This after raids were conducted at her residence earlier today, and I believe this is very much in connection with the liquor gate scam that K Kavitha has been questioned in. We'll get more details in just a bit. We'll try and connect with our reporters, but big update coming in. As far as South India politics is concerned, BRS MLC K Kavitha detained by the ED. We can confirm this now. She's of course daughter of the BRS chief. Let's go across to my colleague Arunima joining us. Arunima, big update coming in connection with the liquor gate scam. Tell us more of what we know.
All that the Enforcement Directorate is confirming at the moment is that they want to question K Kavitha further, and that's why from her Hyderabad residence she is being flown down to Delhi. The rules are very clear, the CRPC rules are very clear, that if a woman has to be taken into custody, it cannot happen after sunset, and it has to be in presence of another woman constable or a woman officer. I think that's the reason why when they wanted to question her further, with the prospect of the IU deciding at a later stage if arrest should be made today itself, that's the reason perhaps why they're bringing her to Delhi without wasting time for sunset to happen. What they're confirming is that she will be questioned further, and during the course of the questioning, it will be made clear by the investigating officer if custodial interrogation is required.
So, can you give us also a quick backgrounder on the raids that were conducted at her residence today, Arunima?
Yes, so what we are told is that the searches that were conducted was to get more evidence as far as the money laundering allegations against her are concerned. There are allegations that proceeds of crime in the liquor policy scam were invested by K Kavitha and the others from the South Group. The CBI is already, probing this particular case, being probed by the Enforcement Directorate. So the Enforcement Directorate was carrying out searches today because they were not sure whether the shell companies, Kavitha was aware about it, where the laundered money or where the shell company papers, the digital devices which could have more details, where all of that was, and that is why these searches were being conducted. Looks like the ED's investigating officer was not satisfied with the answers given, and that led to the requirement of further questioning, and that is why she's being brought to Delhi.
Arunima, just stay with me. I want to quickly go across to my colleague Swastika joining us from Hyderabad. And Swastika, you're reporting that there is a crowd building up already outside K Kavitha's residence. Tell us more of what you're picking up.
In fact, Rao will not being allowed to go inside. You can see, apart from the media contingent, there's also a battery of supporters who have now built around her house. In fact, they're banging on the gates of K Kavitha. The questioning was underway for nearly 3 hours now, and now it has been confirmed that Kavitha has been detained in connection with the Delhi liquor case. And in fact, KTR is also here. KT Rama Rao is also here. In fact, the family has been trying very hard to get inside her house, but because of the ED officials still being inside, that's not going to be possible. You can also hear chants of the BRS workers, in fact, chanting against the Modi government. In fact, they are saying that this is political conspiracy. Everything said and done, in a few moments now, we can expect the ED officials, in fact, to come out of the gate before 6, in fact, and they are also standing late is what we're given to understand. Taking Kavitha to Delhi directly for further questioning. Back to you.
Swastika, I'm going to come back to you. I want to go to Arunima, my colleague. She's been tracking, of course, all the developments in the Liquorgate probe. Arunima, for the benefit of our viewers, let's recap what the case against K Kavitha is.
Is a very important player mentioned in the ED charge sheet, mentioned in the CBI charge sheet, and that is the South Group. There are a number of businessmen who were associated with the South Group. The allegation was that this South Group and all the businessmen associated with it, be it Mr. Mahindru, be it Dinesh Arora, they were all part of this conspiracy, and that K Kavitha was also in Delhi. That's what one of the charge sheets says, that she was also in Delhi around the time that these businessmen were meeting up with Mr. Nair, one of the close associates of Arvind Kejriwal. So the charge is that K Kavitha was actively involved in the conspiracy. She was aware about how rules were being bent to placate the South group, and how in return alleged bribe money was being paid to the Aam Aadmi Party. Now you just have to put together the moves that ED is making against Arvind Kejriwal also. He's just suffered a setback. The court has refused to intervene in his application, where he said on technical grounds that he should not be questioned by the ED. So I think the ED, what they are also doing is preparing a tight case, because they want to ensure that Arvind Kejriwal, as the national convener of the Aam Aadmi Party, is also held accountable. If K Kavitha and questioning of K Kavitha leads them to evidence against Kejriwal, against his involvement, against the allegation that Aam Aadmi Party was the ultimate beneficiary. For example, the allegation that the bribe amount was utilized by the party to fund elections. If they can find any evidence on that count, it will prove to be extremely beneficial for them in the next charge sheet that they want to file. But you have to remember, this is all coming just before the Lok Sabha elections are to be announced by the election commissioners tomorrow.
Yes.
So of course the opposition will cry foul.
No, this is one of the biggest names that have now been caught as far as the Liquorgate probe is concerned. You have Manish Sisodia and Sanjay Singh of the Aam Aadmi Party in jail for many, many months. In fact, Manish Sisodia for a year now. And you've got K Kavitha, the other big name as far as Indian politics is concerned, implicated in this case. She's been detained so far. Now, Arunima, as you were saying, the act of detaining itself, given the stature of the leader concerned here, would you suggest that this is a big step that the Enforcement Directorate has taken, that they wouldn't have done this lightly?
See, what the Enforcement Directorate officials are confirming to me is that Kavitha is being brought to Delhi. Obviously, in election season, when election is going to be declared in less than 15 hours from now, no big politician would, on her own account, willingly want to leave her base and come to Delhi. So there's more to the story. Technically, yes, the ED is still not saying that they have arrested her. Perhaps the paperwork is yet to be done. Perhaps there are reasons that the IO has for not confirming whether she has been arrested yet or not. But the very fact that they are confirming that she is being brought to Delhi for further questioning looks like it's not, her will has not been taken, her consent has not been taken, not much option that she has, given the kind of searches that have been carried out. This is not a situation where summons were sent to her and she came to Delhi, and during the course of questioning this action has happened. ED carried out searches at her residence. Post that, they are confirming that she is being brought to Delhi. So even if ED is not confirming arrest, things look ominous for K Kavitha.
Right. So, just for the benefit of our viewers, and Aruma, we'll try and get Swastika back because she's reporting that there's a bit of activity happening from outside her home. I think she mentioned that KCR is there, K Kavitha being KCR's former Chief Minister's daughter. KT Ramarao is also there. So, we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. Seems like a lot of build-up of politically will take place, and it's not going to be an easy one for the Enforcement Directorate. KK Rao of the BRS, in fact, is joining us over the phone line. Mr. Rao, the update coming in, the ED has detained K Kavitha for the meantime. She is being brought to Delhi is what we are getting to know. We don't know what happens next, whether she is officially arrested or not, but your first response.
In fact, it is most unfortunate because the case is before Supreme Court, and we all thought that they would wait for 4 more days because on 19th there is a hearing and they will do it. Anyhow, there is a lot of confusion now. They want only a search to be done, and they don't think that they have arrested it. But we don't know. I am at her residence now. So I myself do not know unless I talk to my lawyer.
Yes, we can't confirm if she's been arrested or will be arrested, but she's certainly been detained. That much has been confirmed to us by the Enforcement Directorate.
Perhaps they intend to take her to
Delhi. Yes.
When they want to take her to Delhi, naturally, it is not called detained, but they would like to take her along. So that is what they are trying to do.
The suggestion that is also coming out, Mr. Rao, is that maybe Ms. Kavitha was not cooperating as far as the questioning or the investigation was concerned. And under those circumstances, the investigating agencies take this step.
No. The question is, even investigating agencies are confused as to what exactly they are supposed to do under law, because they are confronted with 2-3 positions by the lawyers. So they have to take a stand on the law position. So they are not able to tell us as to what exactly that means. But what you are saying is correct. They intend to take her to Delhi.
Okay. Sir, any update or word that you have had or have received, amidst your party communication from...
No, I'm yet to go to her house. I'm three
Yes.
houses apart. So
Yeah.
let me go first. Then I'll be able to talk to you.
Okay, all right. Mr. Rao, thanks a lot for joining us. Arunima, the South group you mentioned, it's obviously been talked about since day one of the ED investigations. There are members of this group allegedly like Hyderabad businessman Sarath Reddy, YSR Congress Party's MP Magunta Srinivaslu Reddy and son Raghav Reddy and others. And some of them have also turned approvers. How tricky could these allegations and all the other arrests that have already been made be for K Kavitha? Because a lot of them are already in custody.
There's another player in all of this called Arjun Pillai. What has been alleged by Enforcement Directorate is Mr. Pillai was a representative of K Kavitha.
Yes.
And like I said, some allegations have been made that K Kavitha was actually in Delhi when the crucial Delhi cabinet meeting was happening, or before that when these deliberations between South Group and between the alleged conspirators was happening. So the charge is that she didn't just allow Pillai to represent her. She was a direct beneficiary of this entire conspiracy and the South Group. She was aware of what was going on. She was allegedly aware of the rules being bent. All those allegations have been made against her. Now, interestingly, I just want to point this out. When the Central Bureau of Investigation first summoned her, they did not, name her as an accused in the case. The section under which she was summoned was that of a witness. Second time, that section had changed, and she actually took note of it when she wrote back to the CBI's IO. She said, "It's strange that first time you called me as a witness, but now you're not even giving me that benefit." And soon after, I think within 2 or 3 weeks, Enforcement Directorate thought it fit that they must carry out searches at her house, and now she is being brought to Delhi for further questioning. So things are not looking bright for K Kavitha at all. This investigation has been on for some time now, both the CBI and the ED. It's an ongoing investigation. They're getting fresh evidence, but it's important to note how for both K Kavitha and Arvind Kejriwal, the day has not panned out well. ED could well be wanting to pick up more evidence so that all threads of this investigation are tied up together before the final charge sheet is filed. And for that, questioning of both Kavitha and Kejriwal is important for the ED's investigating team.
Yes, and in both their cases, the two big names, K Kavitha and Arvind Kejriwal, there's a lot of back and forth that has happened already between these leaders and the investigative agency on their summons. Even K Kavitha has actually skipped a lot of summons in the past. Arvind Kejriwal is facing court as far as skipping of those summons is concerned, and today he did not get relief as far as personal appearance in one of those cases is concerned. So not going well, but it seems the agencies are not stopping. The timing of this will again come under question. We'll try and go across to BRS MLC K Kavitha's residence, if we can go across and see if we can get something from there, or our colleague Swastika as well, because clearly a lot of leaders are collecting there. There's a lot of media presence. The raids were already taking place. I think our colleague Swastika mentioned that her brother KT Ramarao is actually there. And a lot of the other BRS leaders live in close proximity. They're likely to swoop down to K Kavitha's residence. It could well turn out to be a bit of a political demonstration there as well. There is, okay, let me go across to my colleague Arunima as well. Arunima, it seems like some of the defenses that have come from K Kavitha's side were not sufficient enough. Just take us through the number of times she was summoned in the past, and how many of those summons did she skip? What were the circumstances leading to this raid at her residence today?
See, she's been summoned by the CBI and the ED also, and she's appeared before them earlier also and answered questions. But what is now turning the tide perhaps is the new evidence that the ED is gathering. One person called Amit Arora, he had given a statement to the Enforcement Directorate, and one must point out that unlike statements under 161 CRPC, of course CRPC is now called BNNS, the Nyaya Sanghita has changed the name, but the broad contours of the section that was earlier CRPC 161, that police statement was not acceptable evidence, but a statement made before an ED-IO is admissible evidence. So what Amit Arora said is that the allegation of 100 crore bribe money being paid to Aam Aadmi Party is correct, and not just the South Group businessmen, but MLC, K Kavitha, MP Magunta Srinivasulu Reddy and P Sarath of Aurobindo Pharma. All these three people were actively involved, aware and helping in that linkage of the South Group with the Aam Aadmi Party functionaries here in Delhi.
All right. Arunama, I'm going to keep coming back to you because updates will come in. And of course, right now, we can only confirm that K Kavitha is being detained. She's going to be brought to Delhi. Will that turn into an official arrest or not? We'll have to wait and see. I also want to go across to some of our guests joining us. Tom Varakan, national spokesperson of the BJP, is with us. Aishwarya Mahadev of the Congress Party. Vivek Srivastav, leader of left politics in India, Amitabh Tiwari, election strategist, all with us. And of course, some of the circumstances have changed. We are still connected to southern politics, but in a very different context. Aishwarya Mahadev, I want to come to you first as the Congress representative on your first response to K Kavitha being detained in the liquor scam.
You know, good evening, Shivani. I think looking at the nexus between who got raided, who didn't, and charge sheets being dropped, especially with certain information coming out from the SBI very recently, I completely believe that irrespective of which political part of the spectrum they are, if they are on an opposing side, then action is being taken all across. While you see inaction in a lot of cases and cases disappearing against people when it comes from a certain section of the dispensation, and very famously called the BJP washing machine. My first reaction is, especially in terms of PMLA in the ED, there is a separate process under section 50 and 45 on detention as a witness or detention as an accused in the case. And we hope that at least there's a modicum of process that is followed in this. But I genuinely think that this is just the beginning of what you're going to see as a very, very large tool in the upcoming elections against particular leaders of particular dispensations, which may or may not work with what the current central government likes.
Okay, all right. I'm going to get, of course, the BJP to respond to that. But very quickly, I want to go across to my colleague Swastika joining us from outside K Kavitha's residence. Swastika, give us a sense of what you're witnessing there. Okay, Swastika, unfortunately, we're not getting your audio. We'll try and fix that. Can I go across to the BJP's Tom Varakan in the meantime? Tom Varakan, the timing is already being questioned. The targeting of quote-unquote opposition leaders alone in corruption cases being questioned already.
Well, this is an ongoing investigation. This is nothing bound by time or dictates from the Congress party. Let it be clear, we are on zero compulsion on corruption. We know what is happening in Karnataka. The kind of corruption that is going on has never happened. The kind of guarantees that they have offered, I'm speaking directly, have created a situation that there is no water in the city of Bangalore. They talk about governance. They talk about, their corruption. When I only talked about, she tries to link the detention of one person to her party's benefit. Then why shouldn't I open up and directly talk about the kind of corruption that their party is undergoing? D.K. Shivkumar, one of the favorites of, Karnataka Congress, what is his case?
Okay, but let's focus on this case. Let's focus on this case. K Kavitha being detained. I understand that.
She can't have a broad canvas.
No, I understand that this is a case that has been ongoing. It's not really magically appeared suddenly, and K Kavitha has been asked to appear and be questioned earlier as well. But the fact that she's being detained, questions naturally will be asked. Mr. Varakan, I'm going to come back to you and Aishwarya as well. But I think Swastika is with me. Swastika, if you can hear me, just give us a quick sense of what's happening outside Kavitha's residence.
Along with ED officials, there were about 5 to 6 ED officials who've come there. Along with Kavitha, my brother K Chandrashekar Rao is also inside. And given to understand that in the next few minutes or so, she will be taken to Begumpet, and from there she will be taken to Delhi. She has been detained in the liquor scam case, and her detention comes in the backdrop of the ED not being satisfied with her response. Remember, what we're learning through our sources is that for the last 3.5 hours or so, the ED had been constantly searches in her residence, and Kavitha, remember, constantly kept saying she will only appear or talk to them when her lawyers comply. But her lawyers were not allowed to go inside the building. So for now, what we can tell you is that Kavitha in the next few moments will be taken out and she will be taken to Delhi where the further set of questioning will be underway.
All right, so Astika, we'll keep coming back to you. Before I go back to Aishwarya and Tom, I just want to quickly give an opportunity to both Vivek and Amitabh as well. Vivek, just today in Kerala, the Prime Minister and Tamil Nadu, the Prime Minister talked about corruption.
Yes.
I mean, this is still pretty much clearly for the BJP, the biggest weapon to use against opposition parties. And you cannot quite suggest that opposition leaders being caught in the nexus of corruption cases should not be acted against.
Nobody said it. Nobody is saying that let's have a corrupt India. And you know, if you're going to use the ED and you try to find out the cases of corruption, then you are wrong. No, we are not saying it. But then if you see the whole tenure, tell me one thing very clearly. Ajit Pawar, is he corrupt or is he not corrupt? It's a very big question. Shubhendu Adhikari, they took him. Is he corrupt or is he not corrupt? Hemanta Biswa Sarma, is he corrupt or is he not corrupt? And now Mr. There are so many people in Maharashtra who are joining. Ashok Chavan has just joined. The same BJP which was attacking them day in and night out, corrupt, and suddenly, they are being welcomed just before 2024 elections.
I get that's the larger context, but in
Yes.
this case, in
Yes.
K
Now
Kavitha's
Kerala.
case,
Yes.
can there be a defense? Should the agencies not be allowed to proceed as they need to? Her name hasn't cropped up today.
Yeah, agreed. You see, if you check the timings of this which is happening, the way they are hounding Arvind Kejriwal ji, why the cases have been made, in such a bad way that an honest guy like Manish Sisodia is not able to get bail. Ram Rahim ji 30 दिन से घूम रहे हैं in this country trying to canvass for the BJP. He is out on parole. And Mr. Manish Sisodia's wife is not well. So, I mean, if you see all this, we know that it is a conspiracy that is going on against the opposition leaders because this government is scared. Kerala, it's more than 2 years. The so-called gold scam case, Mr. Tom Vadkan has been coming day in and day out and we have been debating on it. No action taken. The ED got involved. What have they found out apart from harassment? And finally, Mr. Arif Mohammad Khan in Kerala was targeted by the Supreme Court itself and said you stopped the finance bill has been lingering for more than 2 years.
Okay,
And development
let's
of
not, no, let's not
so
get into
I'm not
let's
diverting.
focus on the issue of
Yes.
opposition leaders particularly being
Yes.
implicated in corruption
Yes.
cases. Now you mentioned honest Manish Sisodia, etc. Now I know the PMLA is a very strict legislation and the court has upheld the powers of the ED in this regard. And I don't want to get into that, but there has been no relief, including any coercing of any such charges that has come in place for any individual linked to the Liquorgate scam. Before yes, Aishwarya, I'll come to you. Just be with me for a few minutes more since we got delayed. Amitabh, this is going to be a big talking point ahead of elections. How do you see corruption playing out as a talking point?
Yeah, see, essentially, corruption normally plays a big part in any election for an opposition party. So in 2014, BJP made it a big issue to CWG, GJG, etc. Now for BJP to make corruption an issue in 2024 election, it has to show action. For some people, putting people or rather the ED taking action is an action. For largely its supporters. For a section of people, it is like saying that more than 95% of people who are being targeted are from opposition and BJP is being used as a washing machine. So it's a perception battle. One battle is being fought in public courts and one battle is being actually fought in the judiciary wherein these people have not been able to get bail. That's also a fact. Now,
the fact also is in the last 10 years, no big leader has actually been convicted either.
correct.
Some of these cases have just been going on for years and years.
Correct. So, now specifically this TRS case or a BRS case in Telangana, if you see now, you already showed that BJP is likely to get majority seats in Telangana. Why is it happening, if the numbers are correct? Because BJP gets a leg up in any contest versus the Congress party. So the battle there has become bipolar because it's a national election between Congress and BJP. This issue is likely to squeeze out BRS further.
This corruption issue.
This corruption issue
Okay.
and the anti-Congress vote which BRS gets, because BRS gets anti-Congress and anti-BJP vote. this anti-Congress vote which BRS gets might shift to
the
BJP,
Okay.
and it can be a very bipolar election in Telangana.
You know, unfortunately, because of these updates, we've been, we've been forced to switch away from our election analysis and the News 18 mega poll analysis. I do request our guests to just stay with us for as long as they can so that we can continue on this. But I want to quickly play out my colleague Swastika's report from outside K Kavitha's residence.
K Kavitha has been detained by the Enforcement Directorate in connection with the Delhi liquor scam. In fact, outside her Hyderabad residence, you can see a sea of supporters who have come here along with battery of media trying to get a glimpse of K Kavitha. In fact, who's been there inside her residence. It's been over 3.5 hours since the questioning has been underway. Just a short while ago, K Kavitha's brother, K Rao, went inside that house along with Harish Rao. In fact, they were seen banging on that white door